Have you ever pondered why some businesses thrive while others fail, despite seemingly equal opportunities? This question has puzzled many, but the answer often lies in one key element: strategy. In the realm of business, strategy is the compass guiding a company through the ebbs and flows of the market, steering it towards its goals. Now you might be wondering, what is this strategy we're talking about? Well, it's a thoughtfully designed plan, a roadmap if you will, that outlines how a business intends to achieve its objectives. It's about making choices on where to play and how to win, and then backing those choices up with resources and action. Yet, not all strategies are created equal. This is where our guidebook comes into play. Good Strategy, Bad Strategy: The Difference and Why It Matters, by renowned business strategist Richard Rumelt. This book is a treasure trove of insights that demystifies the complex concept of business strategy, breaking it down into digestible, understandable parts. Rumelt's book highlights the stark difference between effective and ineffective strategies. Good strategies aren't just about setting goals. They're about diagnosing the challenge, designing a guiding policy to overcome that challenge, and then devising a set of coherent actions to carry out that policy. On the contrary, bad strategies are often characterized by fluff, failure to face the challenge, mistaking goals for strategy, and bad strategic objectives. The book isn't just theoretical. It's filled with real-world examples that illuminate the concepts, making them easy to grasp. It's a must-read for anyone interested in understanding what strategy really means, and how good strategy can transform businesses. So, what exactly separates a good strategy from a bad one? Is it merely about setting lofty goals and hoping for the best, or is there more to it? To answer these questions, we need to delve into the teachings of Richard Rumelt. In the upcoming segments, we'll explore the anatomy of good strategy, the pitfalls of bad strategy, and how to distinguish between the two. So, stay tuned as we uncover the secrets to effective business strategy. So, what exactly separates a good strategy from a bad one? Let's delve into the teachings of Richard Rumelt to find out. According to Rumelt, a good strategy is more than a mere plan or forecast. It's a well-structured approach to addressing a problem or seizing an opportunity. To understand the anatomy of a good strategy, let's dissect it into its three main elements. First, a diagnosis that defines the challenge. This is the foundation of any good strategy. It's about understanding the situation you're in, the problems you're facing, and the opportunities available to you. Let's say you run a small bookstore in a world dominated by online giants. Your diagnosis might be that you can't compete on price or range, but you can offer other benefits that online giants can't, like a personalized service or a cozy reading space. Next, we have a guiding policy that deals with the challenge. This is your overall approach or method to handle the diagnosed challenge. It's not about specific actions, but a broad direction that gives you a path to follow. For our bookstore, the guiding policy might be to focus on creating an inviting atmosphere and offering personalized recommendations to differentiate from online competitors. Last but not least, a good strategy includes a set of coherent actions designed to carry out the guiding policy. These are the specific steps you'll take to implement your guiding policy. For our bookstore, this could involve hosting regular community events, training staff to provide tailored book recommendations, or creating comfortable reading nooks within the store. Each of these elements is crucial, and they must work together cohesively. The diagnosis informs the guiding policy, which in turn shapes the coherent actions. Without a clear diagnosis, you won't have a relevant guiding policy. Without a guiding policy, your actions will be aimless. And without coherent actions, your guiding policy will remain just a theory. Remember, a good strategy is not just about setting goals, but about identifying and overcoming challenges. It's about understanding your situation, deciding on a general approach, and then taking specific, coherent actions to implement that approach. That's the anatomy of a good strategy, according to Rumelt. Now that we know what makes a good strategy, let's explore what constitutes a bad strategy. Strategy is a roadmap to success, but when it's poorly constructed, it can lead to a dead end. Richard Rumelt, in his book, Good Strategy, Bad Strategy: The Difference and Why It Matters, identifies 4 hallmarks of a bad strategy: fluff, failure to face the challenge, mistaking goals for strategy, and bad strategic objectives. Let's start with fluff. Fluff is a form of gibberish masquerading as strategic concepts or arguments. It's when the language of a strategy is inflated and ambiguous, making it impossible to evaluate its effectiveness. Imagine a company stating their strategy is to maximize customer-centric synergy. Sounds impressive, but what does it really mean? It's pure fluff, devoid of substance. Next, we have failure to face the challenge. A strategy is a response to a challenge. If a firm fails to identify and confront the obstacles in its path, it's like a ship sailing without a compass. For instance, a company facing declining sales might focus on developing a new product without addressing the underlying issue of poor customer service. Third, we have the pitfall of mistaking goals for strategy. A goal is not a strategy. It's the end result, not the plan to achieve it. A business declaring it wants to be the market leader is a goal, not a strategy. Without a clear roadmap outlining how to become the market leader, it's just wishful thinking. Lastly, bad strategic objectives. These are objectives that fail to address critical issues or are impractical. For example, an objective to increase market share by 50% within a year without a clear understanding of the market dynamics is an example of a bad strategic objective. In essence, a bad strategy is not simply the absence of a strategy, but the presence of misguided and ineffective approaches. It's like a ship sailing in the wrong direction. Even if the wind is favorable, you're not going to reach your destination. So, avoid these pitfalls and steer your ship towards success. So, why does differentiating between good and bad strategy matter? Let's take a quick journey back through our discussion. We've learned that strategy is the lifeblood of any business. It's the roadmap that guides us from where we are to where we want to be. A good strategy is like a well-tuned orchestra, every piece playing its part in harmony to create a beautiful symphony. It's clear, coherent, and focused, aiming to achieve pivotal objectives. On the flip side, a bad strategy is like a ship lost at sea, directionless and prone to the mercy of the turbulent waves. It's often vague, convoluted, and lacks focus, ultimately leading to the downfall of even the most promising ventures. Understanding these differences and being able to identify and rectify bad strategies can significantly impact the success of a business. Because, as we've learned, good strategy doesn't just happen, it's crafted with intention and precision. In the words of Richard Rumelt, good strategy works by focusing energy and resources on one or a very few pivotal objectives whose accomplishment will lead to a cascade of favorable outcomes.